Welcome back to Mecha March Madness and to Sonic Speed Reading. We've covered a little Archie this month, so I think it's only fair we did a little Fleetway as well. We're going to be looking over a very short story. There's not going to be a great deal to talk about, but I thought this bot would be very interesting, so might as well bring it up. And the issue we're covering today is a very early one. This takes place in Sonic the Comic number 4, and the story kicks off in the Emerald Hill Zone. Now, I'm seeing some columns here. I would think that would be more in line with Aquatic Ruin than anything else, but all the same, I always appreciated when these comics actually took place in something akin to the games. So as I keep discovering, anytime I jump into Fleetway, I'm supremely jealous of what Europe got compared to America. Anyway, the story starts off with a conversation between two characters we have not come across before, and I doubt they'll be showing up too often in Fleetway. But here we have Stripes the Badger and Ruff the Dog, obviously representing the little critters that you'd rescue from Badniks from the games. We have Ruff leading Stripes to what he believes is Sonic the Hedgehog, who is ripping a star post out of the ground. Again, I would have been tickled just all kinds of fancy just to see anything from the games interacting in a narrative, so I'm already loving this. But yeah, the two little animals and the reader are probably wondering what the heck is Sonic doing ripping these things up out of the ground? But as the first page ends, we realize that's not Sonic at all. Just an insane looking robot that has a lot of spikes on his back and, you know, the iconic blue color. And this is going to be our subject for today. This is Badnik Sonic. A couple things I'm taking notice of here. We just covered Rocket Metal, and I'm noticing the belly of these two robots are very similar with that goofy little slot in the center there. And I guess they both have giant cone heads, if you think about it, and yellow accents. But outside of that, that's where the comparisons end. The story starts off like a lot of these other ones do, that being people mistaking Sonic for whatever doppelganger the narrative is focusing on. And if you thought it was silly that people could mistake Shadow for Sonic, I mean, just take a look at this thing. It's got a zipper for a mouth, crazy yellow eyes, weird little bumps everywhere. It's got Knuckles before Knuckles showed up. It doesn't even have shoes. It's got red hooves. And apparently this thing can spin dash according to those little animals, so I don't know how that's even possible. But let's continue on with the story before we talk about anything else. We turn our attention over to Sonic and Tails, with Sonic blasting far ahead of his two-tailed friend. And I'm using the term friend very loosely. If you're not familiar with Fleetway Sonic, he was much more of a jerk than you might be used to, especially to little Tails, who sees him as a hero and is eager to keep up with him, but Sonic barely gives him the time of day. He always treats Tails like an inconvenience. And yeah, sometimes that's hard to read, but other times I gotta tell you, I kind of miss Sonic being a complete brat like this. I also love these little bits here showing how Sonic moves through this environment, occasionally throwing in some stuff from the games like a little spring. And poor Tails just stumbling over the side of a cliff trying to keep up with Sonic and letting him know that he's got something to tell the Hedgehog. And Sonic says make it quick. He's got places to go. And Tails lets him know that a couple of the guys said that they saw Sonic destroying gateways to the Special Zone, which is what they did in Sonic 2, but they do further expand upon what the Special Zone is in their own universe, but not important for today. Sonic tells Tails not to hassle him and he'll take care of it. We then cut back to the dog and Badger, and apparently they're still debating on whether or not what they saw was actually Sonic. Stripes says, well, he did look a lot bigger than Sonic, but Ruff retorts, yeah, but who else do we know that has those crazy spikes? So yeah, even if there are other hedgehogs in this universe, I guess Sonic still stands out compared to a lot of other creatures. But as they debate, they're ambushed by a couple of Badniks, who let loose long metallic tendrils that grab the two little animals and stuff them inside themselves. And it looks like these Badniks are designed specifically for these two little critters, one looking like a three-headed bulldog and the other like a badger prison kind of a thing. These designs are wild. And one of the Badniks say, organic battery successfully installed. And this is interesting. So at least in this universe, or at least early on in Fleetway Sonic, they operate largely the same way they do in the games, meaning they need little animals to function. And while the games themselves never generally told you how the animals got into the robots, later on Lost World will show us directly, and you could infer some things just with the animal capsules at the end of levels. At no point did it ever show you the Badnik themselves consuming said animal. So that's new here. I do have to wonder how they're functioning on their own, yet still need a little animal to function. All the same, they do need to operate this particular way for how it's going to interact with Sonic, because as we turn back to Sonic and Tails, we see them investigating one of the missing star post spots, with Tails saying that whatever did this is bound to be miles away by now. Well, Miles is wrong about all those miles, because as it turns out, the Badnik who caused all this busts out of a wall ready to attack Sonic. And Sonic, being Sonic, is ready for a fight. And now we get a good side look at this robot, and God, it looks more like an angry pig than a hedgehog. And as it turns out, it's giving Sonic a little bit of trouble here, knocking him around and turning into an actual spike ball. I kind of like that. If you played the games, you know that Sonic has a weakness against spike balls, so that makes sense. But while the two are fighting, Tails sees that he can't let Sonic fight this thing alone, so he jumps into action, climbing up the side of a column. Things still aren't looking great for Sonic as the Badnik shoots spikes out of its ball form. From Tails' perspective, it looks like the Badnik has the upper hand, but Sonic still has a move up his sleeve, waiting for the right time to strike. And as that moment presents itself, Sonic curls up into a spin attack. At the same time, Tails does the same thing in an attempt to save Sonic. Unfortunately, it throws off Sonic and the two crash into each other, with Sonic saying, "Nice going, Pixel Brain." And unfortunately, that gives the Badnik enough time to shoot out its tendrils and capture Sonic, successfully installing him as an organic battery. Tails blames himself, but gets back up ready to fight. But unfortunately, the Sonic Badnik, as well as a bunch of others, begin to come down on him. And can I just say the Badniks are far more intimidating than I've ever seen them before. They are gargantuan. But as they surround the little fox, Robotnik arrives with the Badnik made just for Tails. And maybe I need to go read some other comics around this time, because I don't know why he has this weird metallic suit and a top hat. What is happening there? And yeah, like most Tails robots, this thing looks like a complete disaster. But before he snatches up Tails, Robotnik does what any good villain does and monologues about his grand plan. He's been using his Badniks to collect the star posts. Seen as the special zone is the new base of operations for Robotnik, he doesn't want any uninvited guests. So yeah, he's just basically making sure that he's not disturbed. But just then, the Sonic Badnik grabs him by his weird cape. As it turns out, Sonic had taken control over the robot once he had been absorbed. And he grabs Robotnik by the mustache, saying that he better let all the little critters go, otherwise he's going to spin while holding his mustache. And with a click of a button, everybody is let loose. But on that same remote, Robotnik clicks a second button, which lets off his jet boots, and he makes his escape. So yeah, that is the tale of Badnik Sonic. And if you've not heard of him before, it's likely you didn't grow up reading the Fleetway comics. I certainly didn't. I didn't know this thing existed until I started doing research for Mecha March Madness. And like so many other little robots we've covered, you can understand why this did not stick around when you compare it to the likes of Mecha or Metal Sonic. This is a hideous design, but at the same time, it's a very interesting idea. I have wondered before why Robotnik never made Badniks designed to house the likes of Sonic or his pals. I've even made a wild guess that maybe the giant robots we see in Sonic Frontiers are meant to house creatures as powerful as Sonic. After all the rumors that we hear the voices of his friends and this or that and the other, who can say? But the point is, the idea has always been an interesting one to me. You go to all the trouble of housing little rabbits and birds into insect monsters. Why wouldn't you do the same for Sonic? This quick little comic kinda answers that for us. Sonic's just too powerful to be housed in one of these things. But at the same time, it's kind of impressive that this one Badnik gave Sonic so much trouble. But as we also saw in this comic, it turns out that Robotnik can make some intimidating Badniks if he gives it a shot. Tails would have had no chance against the robots we saw in this book. And while it's not the same design, this is not the last time they would allude to a Badnik Sonic. In issue 42, there's a short story going over the daily life of Robotnik, and it shows some pretty twisted stuff, even going so far as to showing the eggs that he loves so much are produced by a tortured robot chicken. And while they don't do anything with it, they allude to a new Sonic Badnik. Apparently, he's been holding this one aside for the day when Sonic slips up and he can finally power Robotnik's ultimate Badnik. And apparently, the ultimate Sonic Badnik has missile fingers, something we would see in another Sonic robot, but also a beak with a grenade nose. Yeah, this is a weird design, both of them. But still, they kind of peaked with Metal Sonic in terms of designing these things, so it's fun to see them get out there and wild. As we keep seeing, there were a lot of attempts to make a robot Sonic back in the day, but this is the only one that truly went with the Badnik idea. The concept was introduced in the very first game. Somebody was bound to think, well, what if you made one of these robots for a hedgehog? But yeah, this is a fun concept, one you really couldn't get away with after the introduction of Metal Sonic, so I'm glad they did this early on. There were so many variations of Sonic himself in the early days. It's fun to see there were so many variations of robot duplicates. I liked this. This was a fun, simple little story, and I'm very excited to see more Fleetway when we get to it. But as for the Badnik Sonic, that's all I have to say, but I certainly wouldn't mind the idea of them using the concept of making advanced robots that could be powered by the likes of Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, or hell, Silver, Shadow, any of these crazy ass animals they have in the games themselves. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this. Did you like this better than the American version, Pseudo Sonic? Would you like to see something like this come back? Do you miss your ugly Sonic robots? Because believe it or not, there are a few more to get to. But that's gonna do it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and an extra special thank you to all my patrons who help keep me alive. And let me list these extra special people I just want to stuff inside me as my organic batteries. Kyle Winter, Cirrus the Skeptic, Joseph Duncan Sonic 2 Blue, John, Josh Strider, Copper Casey, Faizan Razul, Zandroni the Painter, Trey Nobles, Hatsworth, Nick S, Tristan Trapp, Makers, Dun Dun, Miles the Prower, Jeremy Singer, Mr. Boo J, Rain, Sam Webster, Dwight Graham, Fish Flop, Lucas Lipker, The Bad Pal, Shoden, Mr. SP, Cecil the Glade, The Dark Neon, Missing No, Stefan Plakanica, 3 Monic, Graham J. Hall, Lenny McLennyface X, Wayne is Boss, Letteric, 64 Bits, David 20 Cover Your Knees, Ryan Rolfs, The Lumberjack, Otis Small, Shifting Flesh, Mute, Trash Baphomet, Autumn from Twitter.com, That Pyramain, Mui Saxy, Jin Sayotame, Cunning Wise, Nezend, Interjack 5, Duchess Nicole, Sherrod the Hedgehog, H.R. Hoffman, and Spades the Nocturne. Guys, thank you so much for your support. I know I say it all the time because I've been doing a lot of episodes, but legitimately I get to do this because you're helping keep the lights on over here. You're the lifeblood of this channel. I cannot emphasize that enough. Thank you so much. And hey, if you want to help pitch in, if you're not already, you can, of course, jump in over on Patreon. I'll have the links below. Working on some fun extras for everybody, and you do get Discord access. But I got a lot of other stuff to get finished up for you, so I'm gonna get back to it. And until next time, toot toot, Badnik Warriors.